Hello everyone, welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. Let's continue, shall we? Saturday, my second favorite day of the week. This is almost entirely due to the fact that it is the day with the second least amount of school, with class ending at the beginning of lunch. I open my door confidently, myself being more than confident of being able to get enjoyment out of the fine weather and shorter class length. I confidently stride down the hallway and down the stairs to the lobby of the male dorms. I confidently look behind me to see whose footsteps are approaching. I lose my confidence in this day being enjoyable. Hey man, sup? Not much, I guess. Just looking forward to the afternoon. You? He wraps an arm around my slumped shoulders, not stumps, slumped shoulders, far too comfortably. Something's up. Let's step outside, shall we? I was just about to before you stopped me. He doesn't take my reaction to his theatrics well. Ignoring him, I walk outside and start down the steps. It doesn't take too long for him to catch up with me again. I wonder if he wants money or to rant about another conspiracy, maybe both. I got a bone to pick with you. Uh-huh. It's about that blonde, you know who I'm talking about? Conspiracy it is. For a moment, I contemplate feigning ignorance, but realize this will go quicker if I just let him get it all out. Lily, the one from your class? Your first name turns with her? He looks positively shocked at this development. Did he not expect me to be able to answer? He gathers himself and coughs into his fist, dramatically like everything he does. Well, never mind that. I'm here to warn you, man to man. Warn me about what, Lily? Yeah, you don't know her, man. It's mostly true. I've only known her and Hanako for less than 2 weeks, and even then, we've just been exchanging banal chatter about school as we while away at lunch. I'm pretty sure you don't either. That's not the point. You're the one spending inordinate amounts of time with her. It distresses me that someone like Kenji, who's probably as far out of the loop as one could possibly get, knows about such a trivial fact as who I choose to befriend. Then again, I am a transfer student, and she's not only the representative of their class, but also a tall blonde. Maybe I should appreciate this ranting as a warning that the rumor mill exists in this school, and that I'm firmly within it. It's just lunch, nothing special. Look, man, under the bridge. You see this bridge? You're under it. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do to get intel. I just want to make sure you don't end up too far under the bridge. You're losing me, Kenji. That's okay. Lots of people get lost. That's why I'm here to help. Just be careful around her, okay? She looks all harmless on the outside, but I've heard shit. Bad shit. You know the student council, right? He seems to involuntarily shudder as he says the words. Putting him and Shizune together in a room is as amusing a mental exercise. I wonder if they've met. Yeah, Shizune and Misha are in my class. I seem to have dodged the draft, though. Good man, good man. But this blonde, she was there, in the student council. Right damn there. I see, and she's not there now. Seriously, think about it. Something must have gone down. I stopped walking for a moment, giving the idea more thought than I probably should. It would explain the fight the two had, at least in part. Wait, no, not really. Even leaving the student council would need a catalyst. In the end, it doesn't explain much at all, other than the fact that their feud goes back some ways. I guess you have a point. I'm not seeing how that really affects me, though. Okay, now, field this one. Lily's foreign, obviously. Obviously. Now, what nationality is she? I opened my mouth to give the answer, but realized that I have none. In fact, I've given the matter very little thought. Given that she has no accent and acts perfectly Japanese, I suppose it never really seemed important. Now that he mentions it, though, I am rather curious. To be honest, I don't know. Maybe English? They like tea. I probably shouldn't resort to stereotypes, but that's the only lead I have. You're not thinking. Luckily, you have me to think for you. Gee, thanks. He brushes off the quip effortlessly. Now answer me this. Who has lots of social power, is filthy stinking rich? You know blondes are all rich, right? It has a long history of disputes and used to belong to a much larger organization. Vampires? Jews? The Roman Catholic Church? Well, okay, there's that. But there's also the Mafia. Come on, rich, foreign. There's no way she doesn't have connections to them. I have reason to doubt the logic of his deductions, but he shows no sign of stopping. So do you know where I think she's from? Italy? Mainland Italy, small time, dude. She has to be from Sicily. All those mafioso types come from there. Wait, no, Russia. Damn, this could be bad. The Mafia there is serious, man. Ex-KGB everywhere, paramilitaries, hardcore smuggling, and... Wait, stop. Just slow down a second. At what point are you trying to get out of here? You don't know what she'll do, man. I won't get in your way. Agents don't operate like that, but I just want you to be careful. When the time comes, we'll need all the help we can get. I don't want to lose you, comrade. Well, at least he's concerned for me. Kinda. I wave goodbye to him as we separate out to our respective classes, but I'm not sure that he sees the gesture. Piling my books into my bag, I catch a glimpse of the library books I'd borrowed last week. I might as well return them, considering they took all of 2 days to finish. I briefly consider inviting Hanako along to the library, but she's already gone. It'll probably be better for my studying if I'm alone anyway. With a quick stretch and a wave to a couple of classmates who give the same to me, I make my way out of the classroom. As I open my bag and shove the books through the return slot in the front counter, I notice a strange person behind the desk, old and graying. Must be Yuko's replacements when she's working at the cafe. I begin looking for a free table, a task made somewhat difficult considering that, despite there not being many students in here, they're all sitting at their own tables. Noticing a familiar head of hair, I walk over near the braille section. It's hard to tell whether Lily's concentrating hard or not, her placid expression holding perfectly still as her finger slides across the dot-filled pages of her book. Hi, mind if I sit here? Oh, no problem at all. She trails off, evidently still focused on her business at hand. Ah, Hizao. She gives a nod of greeting as I sit opposite her at the table, pluck a chemistry textbook out of my bag, and quickly thumb to the chapter we're covering in class. For a while, we sit there and read, each in our own way. Seeing her reminds me of what Kenji said this morning, though. That and the fact that I've never seen someone read in Braille before she makes me keep throwing glances at her. I feel kind of guilty about it, given that she has no way to realize I'm doing so I decide to just ask her about it. Her lineage isn't exactly a state secret after all, and there's another thing I've just noticed from her movements. Hey Lily, mind if I ask a question? Not at all. Is anything wrong? I was just wondering. You're at least part foreign, right? She gives a small giggle before setting her book down. I've always assumed just how squeamish people are about that. Akira has mentioned how much and she and I look different from most others before. The details are a bit complicated, but I'm half Japanese, half Scottish. Scottish? That's not exactly my first guess. It takes some effort to not blurt it out loud. I try to conjure an image of the place in my mind. As far as the UK goes, Scotland isn't bad to live in, but I'm not really sure. Yeah, like, I've never been to the UK, but as far as I can tell, stay away from the big cities. Actually, you know what? The UK is a shithole now. Never mind. Look. If you import a bunch of pedophiles, I'm just gonna drop it. I don't want the YouTube people to go after me. My first guess of England was surprisingly close, at least geographically. That does leave another question, though. But you have no accent. That's where the details begin. I was born and raised in Japan despite my mother being foreign. Ah, I get it. Hold on. Is she moved to the dorm simply due to Akira working longer hours? So they don't live near the school? She gives a small sigh, as if she didn't expect me to go any deeper. Was her previous frankness just a front? Not exactly. It's been a long time since we've actually met. I feel like I'm not getting the whole story, but I don't really want to go unduly prying into her situation. Her about face tells me she's kind of awkward about it. So, do you speak much English? To be honest, I don't know much about Scotland, but I at least know that's the main language there. It takes her a moment to collect herself, appreciating the change in topic. That's right. My family mostly used Japanese around the house when I was young, but they made sure Akira and I knew our Scottish side just as well. I'm fluent in the language, but I'm also studying it in school to keep my skills up and to have my qualifications on paper mainly. So you're bilingual? That's pretty impressive. I wouldn't go that far. Having parents who could speak the language is a large advantage, and English books in Braille aren't too hard to buy or import, with Yuko's help at least. There's a relatively high demand for local English teachers here anyway, which also helps give me some motivation to learn it as well. Demand for English teachers. For a moment, I wonder why she brought this up. You're planning to be an English teacher? She gives me an enthusiastic nod. It must be nice, having such a definitive future in mind. I've never really given much thought to mine, so I'm kind of envious. What's wrong? It's just, I could see you as a teacher pretty easily. It suits you. For a moment, she's speechless. She lowers her face a little and lets out a nervous giggle, something I've never seen her do before. With Lily's role as a class representative and her dependable nature, teaching does seem to be a line of work fitting her personality. Sorry, that was probably a little much. It is true, though. Waving her hand in front of her face dismissively, she quickly recovers. It's not that. It's just that only one person's ever said that to me before. A short, somewhat awkward silence follows the discussion. Without knowing it, I end up steering into a troublesome topic again. I should try to cheer her up a little. It was me who went and got her brooding after all. Want to go grab lunch at the cafeteria after this? It might perk her up a bit, or at least take her mind off her apparently complicated family situation. Going by her smile, it seems to have the intended effect. I appreciate the thought, but the food there... Quite a quick redirection of the conversation. She does have a point, though. The food there isn't the greatest. Maybe the Shanghai? We could ask Hanukkah if she wants to come as well. Ah, what is it? I almost forgot until you reminded me. Hanukkah's birthday is coming up soon, and I was going to go shopping in the city for a present tomorrow. If that's an invitation, I'd be happy to accompany you. The ability to get more used to the layout of the city would probably be a good thing. I have barely set foot in there, so I'd be hopelessly lost by myself. She gives a nod, signaling that she happily approves of this plan for Sunday. We eventually get back to our books, though before I begin reading again, I steal one last glance at her. Maybe I've been thinking on my situation too much. After all, everybody here would have their own unique circumstances. The chance to get outside and clear my head will probably do me good. Bored of standing in place and watching the television in a shop window, I pull myself away from the tacky display with little effort. After living at Yamku, the city feels like an entirely different world. No running in the halls, calm and orderly conduct is to be used at all times in the classrooms, students are to exit rooms after checking both directions on oncomers, elevators are reserved for movement impaired students, single file on stairs. Compared to such strict, almost regimental standards, the city's shopping arcade may as well be a single country. While the school may have its fair share of hustle and bustle during the festival, the outside world is much different. It's strange Having lived in a metropolitan city before my accident, this should feel more natural than Yamaku and the surrounding town ever could. Yet it feels foreign somehow. The elevated walkways and tall buildings, each adorned with billboards taller than any 3 people, don't do anything to distract me from the passing crowd's reactions. Lily keeps one hand on my shoulder, the other holding her cane, which taps the ground with a monotone-like steadiness. Looking over to her, that neutral smile of hers still holds. Having only seen her in her school uniform, I'd have not recognized her as she sat on a bench waiting for me to come, if not for her cane propped up against it and her distinctive hair. I can't tell whether they're glancing at her due to her height, her foreign looks, her obvious blindness, or all 3. Not that any of those make the situation any less uncomfortable than it is. Do you have any ideas of where to look first, Hazal? Her soft voice breaks me out of my line of thought. I can't imagine that she's failing to notice the attention she garners, but she seems unfazed by it. I get the feeling she's the type to enjoy walking outside, so she might be used to it by now. Not really, this is my first time in the city, so I've got no idea of where to go. She furrows her brow in thought, planning a route for us to take, and, come to think of it, a way to communicate it. Something I noticed in the time I've been with her is how, when deep in thought, she lacks close to any form of body language to show it. Her expression may change, but not a hint of movement shows. She seems to have a little in the way of sweeping physical gestures in general, though, so I've assumed it's part of her reserved nature. Is the large electronics store near here? I take a quick look around, mostly finding clothing stores. After a few seconds, I notice a store with a bright blue sign some distance away that fits her description. Yep, it's just a bit ahead of us. Should we go in that direction? Thankfully, it's just the information she needed. With a nod, we start off and head towards Lily's unknown destination, landmarks being our guide. There you go, 1 vanilla, 1 chocolate. I hand the money over the counter, and take the cones to the railing that Lily is sitting on. I can't believe I let her trick me like this. Not only she led me to an ice cream stall, but also got me to buy her some. At least she gave me the money for hers. Sure enough, she's patiently waiting where I'd left her. I guess she's planning on making the day an event rather than a simple shopping trip. I call out to her and slowly place the vanilla cone in her outstretched hands, being careful to make sure she has a good hold of it before letting go. At least her tastes are fairly normal. I was worried she'd ask for some weird flavor when we first arrived. Here's the change. It's okay, keep it. I moved to protest, but realized the futility of doing so over such a small amount. I slipped the coin into my pocket, supplementing my meager allowance ever so slightly. Lily shows no sign of wanting to get up, so I take a seat beside her and start eating my own ice cream. The summer weather's nice. Hopefully it'll hold out for a while. You too? I'm beginning to think I'm the only person who prefers winter. I contemplate her statement for a long moment. Yeah, I think you might be. Oh, wait. It draws the intended reaction. She's cute when she's pouting. Still, I can't really imagine what's so good about winter. You can't go out without bundling up and you still freeze anyway. I used to live further north, where there'd be plenty of snow to play in, so it's a little nostalgic. I don't like the heat very much either. Well, at least you can wear skirts, so don't complain about it. She gives an amused giggle, as we both get back to finishing off our already melting cones. I idly sit and watch the crowds going by as we eat, catching bits and pieces of conversation. Looking to Lily, I see her dutifully licking her ice cream from the top downwards, blissfully unaware of the fact that it's beginning to melt. It's melting. Where? Down a bit. She lowers her mouth from on top of the cone, but has no idea of exactly where the ice cream's dripping. What follows is a game of guiding her left and right until she finally finds it. To any onlooker, it must seem absolutely bizarre. A girl with her eyes closed turning her cone over and over as the guy next to her gives her instructions. A strange variant of childhood blindfold games, maybe? In good time, we finally finish our treats, and while away the time conversing casually. Caught mid-sentence, Lily perks her head in her trademark manner. It's an unmistakable sign that something's caught her attention. Ah, what is it? It's Akira somewhere over there. I think I heard her. I raise an eyebrow as I look in the direction she's facing, somewhat doubtful of her ability to pick out Akira's lone voice in the din. Sure enough, though, a blonde girl in a suit can be seen through the tiny gaps between people walking every which way. I raise a hand and wave, trying to catch her attention. Sato, hey Sato. She stops in her tracks and looks towards me, evidently noticing my calls. As she does, I notice someone walking beside her. I can't get a good look of whoever it is, though, before the two begin walking towards where we are. As they reach us, Lily and I stand and dust ourselves off. Akira? Hey, you two. Wait, hold on, what? I forgot this. She nods towards me, a gesture which I quickly return. My gaze shifts towards the young girl next to her, and our eyes meet. As they do, Akira plops a hand onto her head, a move which doesn't seem to faze her. I don't believe we met. I'm Hideki, pleased to meet you, Izao. A guy's name, huh? I guess I just dodged a bullet there. He bows, somewhat restrained by Akira's hand being on his head. Oh, Hideki's there too. Are you well? Akira's been taking very good care of me, thank you. Akira grins as if to affirm the point, and rubs his head hard, dragging it around in a circular motion. His dreary face during this is somewhat amusing. Uncle's out on business again, so I'm just taking him around town for today. I'd have preferred to be spending the day on a date with my boyfriend, but... Hideki gives a cough to try to redirect Akira's thoughts. As he does so, though, I find mine wandering. Are they related? And further, as first cousins? I suppose that explains why she's taking care of him in any case. Come to think of it, Hideki, how do you know my name? Akira told me. Being a Yamaku student, I suppose you're disabled in some way? Not everyone in Yamaku is disabled, which I only learned a handful of days ago. I give silent thanks to Shizune and Misha for their stream of information about how the school works. Because of them, I found out that since the school will accept practically anybody suffering from non-mental disabilities, it doesn't discriminate against healthy people either. It seems unlikely that many in good health would enroll there, though. While the standard of education is pretty high, it's extremely isolated and very much focused on helping disabled students. You're dodging the question. Damn, he's sharp. Before I can say another word, though, he decides to take a stab at it himself. If I were to call it myself, your heart? Akira looks mildly curiously at me. Her interest piqued as well. That sure was a lucky guess. How did you... You know, you show no missing limbs or deformities, no external disabilities, so external disabilities are out. Considering the lack of any strange mannerisms, it's also unlikely that you'd have any mental disability. But Yamaku doesn't take mentally disabled students. I know. Leaving that aside, the only possibility left is that of internal disabilities. I didn't know which one you might bear, so I guessed, correctly as it turns out, and your reaction confirmed my guess. More than a little bemused, I look to Akira. She grins and shrugs, obviously taking some enjoyment out of her partner's deductions. He's sharp, yes, but more than a little unsympathetic, logical but lacking in tact. His attitude reminds me of Shizune in a way, as do his looks. May I ask why you're staring at me? Surely I'm not that unusual a specimen. Does he not know how unusual he looks? I could overlook the spats and clothing as just being coincidental, but the ribbon in his hair really is too much. This is entirely beside the point, though. Sorry, you just remind me of someone. Akira gives him a sharp jab with her elbow. Told you you're not that much different from her. He coughs into his hands to try to maintain an upright and serious demeanor. I see you met my sister then. Perhaps my full name might help you. I'm Hideki Hakamichi. You're probably thinking of my sister, Shizune Hakamichi. Oh, so he's Shizune's brother. Wait a minute. If Hideki is the son of Akira's uncle, and Shizune is his sister, then that means Lily and Shizune's fathers are brothers-in-law. Therefore, Lily and Shizune are first cousins. Lily groans in an uncharacteristically restrained manner. The reaction earns an amused smirk from her sister. The enmity between the two just took on another meaning. I thought it's simply a matter of difficulty of communication between the two, but a family feud makes things much more complicated. You can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. She gives a half-hearted shrug. She mustn't give as much weight to the two's conflict as I do. Well, that's how it is. What are you up to anyway on this fine day? We're shopping for Hanako's birthday present. The day will be coming up soon, so this is the last chance we'll have before school starts again for the week. Akira makes a strange face, as if Lily had just said that the sky wasn't blue and the clouds not white. Isn't her birthday on the 10th next month? Yes, why? Is something wrong? Akira's face seems to collapse. It's an utterly unbefitting expression for someone so rowdy and headstrong. The foes didn't call you yet? As Lily shakes her head cluelessly, I look at Hideki to see if he knows something about this. A simple shrug is his only answer. For a moment, Akira ponders what to do before smiling once again. The fact that she can hide her emotions so quickly and effectively is unsettling. Hey, Shorty. Sorry, but could you hang out with Hizao for a while? He nods and waves her off, Akira placing an arm on Lily's shoulder as she guides her away and out of earshot. And so, I'm alone with Shorty. So nice weather, isn't it? It seems so. I guess they dumped us. Indeed. What a farcical attempt at small talk. I've got no idea how to talk to this guy, and his robotic responses aren't helping. Blood and a stone come to mind. Without another word, he begins to rock to his feet in an obvious gesture of boredom with this discussion. He really is like a little kid despite his serious demeanor. Suspecting the conversation over, I decide to accomplish what I came here to do in the first place. I'm going to search for a present. Coming? Not much else to do. In a little while, we come to a small shop beside a convenience store. For once, the store windows aren't filled with electronics and computer games, but dolls, stuffed bears, and all manners of wood-crafted oddities. Othello's Antiques? An antique store. Well, if there's anything in this town that'd suit Hanako, I guess it'd be there. I reach for the odd-looking door handle, but pull back at the last minute as I realize my companion's gone adrift. Not coming in? I'll just be in the newsstand for a while, don't mind me. His voice makes it painfully clear he has zero interest in what's in the store, and that he doesn't feel obligated to follow me. As he wanders off without another word, I push the thick wooden door and enter the store, a bell above me ringing out. The musty smell of old books and wooden shelves is distinctly anachronistic. I look to the counter beside the door. The graying man behind it sits there silently, reading a tattered book. He certainly fits the look of this place. Slowly wandering through the aisles, the person I'm reminded of, as I inspect each handcrafted or imported oddity, in turn isn't Hanako. Crouching down, I examine the ancient oak desk inside the shop window. At least 30 dolls, all varying widely in size and make. The only similarity between them is the long Victorian dresses they wear. I turn the price tag of one that looks to be about waist height. It's not in my price bracket at all. I do the same to each of them, getting more and more depressed as they get smaller and smaller in size. That is, until I reach the very smallest one. It's affordable, just yet of quality make and long auburn hair and a little blue dress. I decide that it's the kind of present Hanako would appreciate, pretty looking and far from gaudy. Hold on, I'm just gonna check something real quick. Okay. After I carefully pick it up, I decide to keep looking around the store. I'm not sure whether it's because I like the atmosphere or out of simple curiosity. Peeking around the corner before I go to the next aisle, I see that the shelves in this one are stocked with wooden toys from toy cars to intricate automatons. Tucked behind a line of nutcrackers, I notice this little plain wooden box. It feels surprisingly light as I pick it up with my free hand. The lid only needs the smallest movement to pop open, the little metal drum inside beginning to rotate immediately. For seconds on end, I simply stand there, listening to the palm-sized melody. As it plays, I take the tiny price tag in my fingers and bring it up to my face, the minuscule cursive writing taking an effort to read. It's affordable, sort of. Grimacing slightly, I close the lid to make my way to the counter with doll and music box in hand. When I lay the two on the counter, the man behind it sits up and takes stock of them. He doesn't hide very well his surprise at someone of my age buying them. It's painful, but I hand over the money for the two and leave the store with a small opaque bag in hand. Hideki being there takes me by surprise. "Oh, hi, I thought you'd be at the newsstand." "Akira gave me a call. She's waiting for us at the fountain with Lily." Well, at least that solves the issue of trying to find them again. We head off to the back of the fountain. Hideki's immaculate posture and presentation, despite his appearance, makes for a strange contrast even as we walk. Lily and Akira stand there waiting for us, their faces hard to read. "Hey, you ready to go, shorty?" Hideki's mood seems to improve as he rejoins her. "See ya, Lily, Hazao. Tell Hanako I said happy birthday." "We will. Bye."
Goodbye, Akira.
And with that, the two disappear into the fracas of the afternoon city crowd. Turning to Lily, I notice she's carrying a small bag. It's now that I realize why her disposition felt different from before. While Lily's typically the type to wear her emotions on her sleeve, her expression and tone are clouded and it's difficult to read. It's more than a little off-putting, given the effort she's making to hide her emotions. I doubt she wants to be cornered on why she's feeling this way. "Already bought Hanako a present?"
Yes, have you?
"Yeah."
Shall we head back to the bus stop then?
"Okay. There should be a bus back to Yamaku pretty soon." And with that, we begin to walk. It feels strange compared to before. Lily's hand on my forearm feels unusually tense, and the whole atmosphere is extraordinarily awkward. The silence continues for a long while. I really don't like seeing her like this.
Hanako's birthday party is going to have to be held earlier. Is the 4th going to be alright for you?
I have no other possible obligations anyway, so I reflexively nod. Only afterwards I do. I remember that doing so is pointless, and quickly answer so by speech. She tries to collect herself, a task that looks almost pitiable, and how plain she is to see how distant her thoughts are.
Sorry, Hazao, you said the bus will be coming soon, right?
That's right. But now that she says that, I have an idea. Actually, do you have anything later to do today?
I don't believe so. Why do you ask?
This is the point where I'd normally take your hand and rush you somewhere, but even without that, you'll have to trust me, okay? I take her hand and gently lead her on, her distant face replaced by one of mild surprise and curiosity. As the waitress sets the cup of tea and cup of coffee that I ordered onto the table, I thank her before she takes her leave. Truth be told, I already lucked out in finding this cafe. I don't really know where I was going, rather I was just looking for any cafe that looked relatively nice. Having managed to recover a little, Lily tentatively sips at her cup as I take a long gulp of the coffee in front of me. As I hoped, her face lights up when she realizes what flavor it is.
Ah, this is wonderful. Hazao, how did you know that this was...
I'd asked for a French vanilla black tea, hedging my bets that it would be her favorite flavor, or at least one she liked. While I don't really know much about tea, it sounded like the one she might appreciate. On the basis of her liking vanilla ice cream, a tea connoisseur I am definitely not. It was a lucky guess. You like tea, don't you? She puts her teacup down and gives a tiny nod, that familiar small smile thankfully perched on her face once again.
Drinking tea is calming, I think.
With the amount you drink, are you sure you're not addicted to it? Caffeine addiction is pretty common nowadays.
Did I ever say I wasn't?
She lets out a giggle as my head drops. We all have our vices, I suppose, and there are worse things to be addicted to. French vanilla black tea, huh? I'll have to remember that. For a while, we both silently drink. It's comforting to have someone like her nearby in such new surroundings, even if it's just the two of us sitting in silence. I begin to wonder if this feeling is the same for her, until she sets down her cup. Hazal, do you mind if I ask you a slightly odd question? That depends on the question, I guess. I was wondering, what your favorite color is? Everyone has one after all. I almost replied before realizing why this seemingly mundane question is actually quite strange. My favorite color, but... She gives a pouting look, wanting me to answer anyway. While the answer seems unavoidably wasted on her, there isn't any harm in giving it. I've always had a thing for green. I'd say that's my favorite. Oh, is that why your name tag is green, Azal? Green, is it? What things do you think of when contemplating that color? I suppose grass fields and trees in summer. The army as well, with camouflage. Men always seem to like the military. But that sounds like a nice color, a very nice color. She nods her head a little, as if approving of the choice. Considering how foreign the concept of color is to her mind, labeling it by association seems reasonable enough. If anyone has a favorite color, then what's yours? White. I'm told that's the color of snow, and of ice cream. You're no better than me then. If you only like that color because of a favorite food, I guess white is nice too, though. And speaking of colors, it'll be getting dark soon. Let me help you out. Lily offers her hand, which I take in mind to help lever her up from her seat at the table. Its softness compared to mine takes me off guard, as I'm really not used to such casual contact. It doesn't seem to bother her at all, though. While it seems obvious why, it feels like just one more ladylike aspect to her. As her hand moves to her pocket, I quickly cut her off. Don't worry, I'll pay for this. Oh, thank you, Hazal. She gives an earnest smile at the gesture, a reward much greater than that of her words. By the time we step off the bus, it's well and truly dark. We make our way up the hill in silence, both of us behaving a little awkwardly, probably because of today's events. While I'm still concerned over Lily's withdrawn nature after meeting with her sister, the fact I managed to cheer her up even slightly feels like a personal victory. But it feels like the air between us has changed. Maybe it's only a bit, but it's something I don't think either of us realized before. That was a date, wasn't it? It was. That doesn't elude either of us. The question's answer being so self-evident has to be rhetorical. As to be rhetorical. Blah, 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 blah. Awkward as it may be, I don't think this feeling is bad. In fact, quite the opposite. I don't know what it is. I certainly can't be sure. But it feels like something more than friendship. Understanding, empathy. Searching for words doesn't adequately describe it. It is difficult, nonetheless. Would you like to do this again sometimes, Lily? Without shopping for presents? Okay, what was that? The tentative question is met with the same look from Lily as before. Her pale skin makes the rosy tint of her cheeks just slightly more noticeable, and her face, though I'm still pointing to the street ahead of her, lowers just a little. Okay. Okay, apparently someone's doing something outside of my room. I walk down the hall of the girls' dormitory, school bag in hand. A doll lies inside, carefully placed on top of a small box. I've been carrying the box in there for a while now, still not sure what to do with it. The whole situation, come to think of it, is bizarre. While I've known of Hanako's upcoming birthday party for a while now, I had no idea of exactly what the celebrations would be until I found a single note left in the abandoned tea room earlier today. I hold it up and read it again, double checking the instructions. The plain black handwriting's fairly legible despite Lily's blindness, clearly thanks to considerable effort and care. Hazao, we'll be holding a party at my place. Please come at 6 o'clock to dorm 225 in the girls' dormitory.
Sorry for notifying you this way, but I have class representative duties. Lily Sato. Not reassured, I continue walking down the hallway until I reach Lily's dormitory room. I hesitate for a second, but eventually give 3 sharp taps on the door. A brief and muffled exchange of words can be heard from the other side. Listening closer, I can just pick out Hanako's and Lily's voices. As they finish, Lily calls out, "Might that be Hazao?" "Yep, I got the note you left for me."
"You can come in. The door's unlocked."
Glad that I managed to get the right room, I press down on the handle and let myself in. As the door swing opens, my greeting to them is stolen from my mouth. Wop. Lily sits at a low table in the center of her room in her pajamas, while on the other side sits Hanako in a nightgown, being dressed in only my normal school clothes. I feel quite out of place. I steal a quick glance at the lovely sight of the two, my eyes tearing themselves from Lily's long, thin, pale legs, only with a measure of reluctance. Hi, I think I brought everything that was needed." She smiles and nods. I wonder if she's even aware of the pleasant sight that makes the thin, dark blue silk of her pajamas really suits her, accentuating both her eyes and her curves. The look of her last night, that tentative, almost shy demeanor, seems all but replaced by her coy nature. It's nice to see her confidence return, though. I can't help casting my mind back to how she looked back then. I look to Hanako, who nervously sits opposite her in her gown, and it isn't a surprise that she'd wear something so conservative, though it definitely looks cute. "Hi, Hanako. Happy birthday."
Thank you."
She's unusually skittish, despite the fact she's warmed up to me considerably over the weeks we've come to know each other. This is a pretty unusual situation, I guess.
"Feel free to take a seat, Hazao. I'll just pour you two some tea."
"Sure thing." Lily takes a steaming red teapot from the side of the table and gently pours its contents into our teacups as I take a seat beside them, setting my bag against the nearby wall. With my senses returned and hormones somewhat calmer, I realize that this is the first time I've ever been in Lily's room. The first thing I notice is the ambient smell, just slightly different from that in mine, probably faint perfume or nail polish. It could be anything of a girl's, really. Another is the plain nature of the room, visually. Beige walls, a smart yet unadorned cabinet. The lack of posters or wall hangings is distinctly utilitarian, something I should have anticipated given her blindness. The only thing that really seems out of the ordinary is several piles of books sitting on the floor, each reaching from roughly knee height to waist height. Some of them have printed titles. Others are entirely blank except for dots of braille. The fact that the ones with printed titles are uniformly in English is interesting, though not completely unexpected. She did mention her parents impressing the language upon her in Akira, after all. "Your room looks nice, Lily." I hear a call of thanks from beside my shoulder. Looking back to Hanako, her gaze is fixed on her lap, and her hands are nervously clutching her gown. It's now that I notice why. With these clothes on, the extent of her scarring is far more visible, reaching down to her neck and out to cover her right shoulder. Considering that this is a party for her, she doesn't look like she's enjoying the experience now that I'm here. "So, how old are you turning? 18? Her look of surprise, not at all helped by her total lack of skill at hiding her feelings, shows she's trying to mentally tune me out. This is really quite awkward.
Yes?"
Okay, we got it. We got a canonical age. Okay. Yippee. Although that does make me wonder. I'm pretty sure Emmy is supposed to be a year older than all the other girls, so Emmy would be 19. Would all the others be 18? And Hanako turns 18 here. So, anyways. On the plus side, there's only 2 more years till you could drink. So who's older, you or Lily? Lily, she had her birthday in February. What about yours?
Earlier this year, so it's already passed. Unstated is that it passed while I was stuck in the hospital. That was a particularly low point of the experience. Conversation with her dress up as quickly as... With, conversation with her dries up... Why did I say dress? Conversation with her dries up as quickly as expected. It isn't long before Lily's finished preparing our drinks, sitting down with 3 teacups in front of us. I picked mine up, immediately noticing a much stronger aroma and taste than the tea we've been having. Huh? Mine tastes different than the tea we have in school.
It's a different variety. Rather than the kind we've been having here, you've never tasted orange Japer before? Orange Japer?
Not that I can remember. I usually drink coffee after all, like when we were in town. This is nice, though. As we settle down and sip, Hanako seems to become more relaxed, or at least a bit less tense about my presence. We all finish our cups around the same time, with Hanako failing rather badly at hiding her anticipation for the cake that's sitting to the side, begging to be eaten. Come to think of it, I'm feeling very eager myself. First things first, though. Lily?
Yes, now is good.
Each of us, knowing exactly what the other means, I lean sideways and dig around in my bag for the doll I bought Hanako, as well as Lily gets up and retrieves her gift. Hiding our gifts in our hands, we present both of them on the table at the same time.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! Hanako silently sits looking at them for a few seconds on end out of sheer surprise. My little wooden doll, replete with Victorian-era dress and a little hat, lies next to a light brown and fluffy stuffed bear from Lily. She clutches at her gown as she moves to speak, not taking her eyes off the modest presents.
Thank you, Lily and Hisao.
Her voice begins to crack as Lily reaches forward, wrapping her in a soft embrace. The sight of Hanako holding Lily so tightly is heartwarming, so much so that I couldn't wipe the smile off my face even if I wanted to. As Lily gently rests her face on Hanako's head, she speaks so quietly and softly I can barely hear.
Happy birthday, Hanako.
Happy birthday. Hanako gives a small nod, holding on to Lily for a time before breaking off and wiping an eye. I guess that for Hanako, simply having someone, anyone, to be there and love her would be special. The fact that Lily and I can now share that role for her is something I think I will always be grateful for. Hanako gently takes the doll and a teddy bear, holding them both to her chest as she warmly smiles. Yeah, like the chessboard is replaced with a bear, and the doll that looks like Lily is now replaced with the other doll. For a long time, all 3 of us simply sit in happy silence. The quiet is not broken until Lily's soft voice beckons.
Shall we have the cake then?
Her proposal is met with 2 looks of unhidden anticipation. No argument from me.
Okay.
That was good. I contentedly sit back, both Lily and Hanako looking just as satisfied with the food as I. It took some effort, but we managed to finish off the cake in one go.
I don't think I can fit any more in.
I think next time I'll buy a smaller cake. Hanako and I give a chuckle, but I can't help noticing that, come this time next year, we'll have graduated from Yamaku. The fact is somewhat depressing, since I finally feel as if my life is starting to get back into some kind of order. Idly looking around Lily's neat and orderly room, her books catch my eye once again. This may be a little impetuous, but my curiosity gets the better of me. Besides, I don't think she'll mind in any case. Hey Lily, do you mind if I take a look at one of your books?
You're quite welcome to, Hisao. That said, if you can overcome 2 language barriers, I will be quite impressed.
2? Braille and... oh right, English. She gives a nod. I knew you were studying English, but I'm still amazed that you're this proficient at it.
One can say it's a perfectly way to avoid people borrowing my collection.
She says it in jest, but I'm a little disappointed. Having all these books around me with no way of reading them feels like one big tease. Hanako giggles quietly as I reach over the closest pile, plucking the topmost book with a cursory glance. Death on the Nile in large letters on the cover is the only printed text to be seen. I sit down for a while with the book open on my lap as Lily and Hanako talk. Try as I might to feel out the dots of braille printed on each image, they seem to blend into one another and become indistinct. I thought this to be a lot easier than it actually is. Some practice, though. I could see someone with a better sense of touch than mine managing to read at a pretty fast speed. Noticing a silence that had probably begun earlier, I look up from the dotted pages to see Lily smiling as Hanako sips another cup of tea. Is something wrong? Quite the opposite. Your curiosity's quite endearing. I am inordinately pleased by the praise, though I feel my cheeks heating up a little. Thanks, but I don't know how else I could act. To be honest, I wasn't altogether sure of how you saw us, since you are a new transfer student from another school. If you pitied us, I would have been quite offended. There's a certain edge to Lily's voice, one that I'd quite possibly place as pride. Glancing over to Hanako, she seems even more subdued than usual, looking towards Lily rather than me. I wouldn't worry about that. Considering the position I found myself in, I'm perhaps the last person that should be dispensing pity on others. My parents' first interactions with me after my heart attack, I wouldn't want anyone to see that kind of face. I catch myself from going any further, but soon enough, both the girls seem to be put off, Lily especially. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have gone that far. An awkward silence reigns for a few beats, thankfully ended as Lily's head perks up, a gesture I've come to easily recognize. Hear something? The door. Everyone looks towards it, trusting in Lily's senses. Thrusting. Never mind. Trusting in Lily's senses. Sure enough, the door handle shudders and turns, a flash of yellow and black slipping through. Akira Seto is in the house! Happy birthday, Hanako. Thank you. Akira takes a seat at the table as he plops her bag beside her. She has her trademark boisterous air around her, making no small deal of her entrance. Hanako clutches her gown to steady herself, but doesn't appear too shaken after she settles down. I guess she must have met Akira before, not a huge surprise given how close Akira and Lily are. Akira doesn't seem to be the least bit put off by Hanako's scarring, despite its prominence, but she also doesn't pull any punches in how she acts despite Hanako's shy nature. I thought you said you'd have to work, Akira. Did you manage to get off for a while? Kinda. I feel bad about ditching the guys doing overtime, but I gotta get back soon. But I felt bad about not coming over to your cute little Hanako's birthday too. So for now, I'm here. She grins widely at Hanako, who flowers into a full blush as she pins her eyes downward to her lap. Her mouth seems to widen and retract over and over, as if she's trying to suppress a smile out of embarrassment. It's a little strange how her reaction seems to be more immediate and forceful when she's embarrassed by the way she looks. All she managed to give in return is a tiny nod, failing to hide her apprehension to any great extent. Not that many people give her positive attention, I suppose. It makes me respect how well Akira can handle her, making her so happy compared to what little I could do. Now then, before I go, she reaches into the bag beside her and grandly displays its contents. Out come 2 large glass bottles, both with long French names on the labels. Hanako's expression is an odd mix of surprise and curiosity, and I suspect mine's no different. Lily, not seeing the proceedings, is oblivious to what's going on. Akira, this isn't... What is it? Wine. 1 red, 1 white. Akira, that's... Relax. It's not like Shizuna's here to scold you. Lily has a point.
It's not exactly allowed on campus. Or anywhere, really. We're still short of the legal drinking age, remember? Rich words for someone practically drooling as he examines a bottle. She got me there. I'm genuinely interested in trying some, even just a little. While Hanako may not be handling one herself, her look does tell me that she's far from opposed to the notion as well. Lily rubs her forehead, giving up the fight that she knows Akira would win due to simply not caring enough about those funny rules and regulations. Just don't believe a word. Just don't breathe a word of this to anyone in the school, please. I beg of you. I'm not stupid, don't worry. That said, I gotta get back to work pretty soon. So soon, but you only just arrived. Sorry, Lily. Good to see you two again though. And you, Hizao. See you later then.
Goodbye, Akira.
She levers herself up with a grunt and waltzes out of the room, leaving us alone with the two items on the table. Interesting? Lily gives a nervous giggle at her sister's antics as Hanako takes a wine bottle.
So...
What do you think, Lily? She rests her elbow on the table and pinches the bridge of her nose, thinking things through. She really doesn't seem to be able to keep up with her sister.
Well, it's already here. We may as well have some.
No sooner than she does that, I take a quick glance around the room for glasses. A small groan above me reminds me that Lily retired to rest in her bed for a few minutes ago. Almost completely drained of energy, I managed to stand up and drag myself to the side of the bed, sitting down and leaning my back against it. Good God. Lily's groan sounds lifeless. Too much to drink?
My head hurts.
Yeah, too much to drink. I rest my head back and idly stare at the ceiling. What an unmitigated disaster. Like proper idiots, we all drank the night away with one glass after another. Hanako simply fell to the side asleep, and it's a miracle I don't feel as ill as Lily.
Hey, Hizao, I'm sorry about today. I didn't think this would happen. It's fine, Lily, to tell the truth. I had a lot of fun today. Really? I think Hanako did too. No, she certainly did.
There's a short silence before another groan resounds from the supine Lily.
You okay? As you said, I just drank too much. What's the time? The time is,
I quickly look at my wristwatch, its numerals barely legible in the gloom.
About midnight. Curfew's in effect then. Yeah, I guess as much. We'll all have to sleep here for the night.
As soon as I say it, I hear the sheets moving as Lily starts to sit up.
Hanako. I know, go back to sleep, don't try to get up. Hizao, I have to. You're in worse shape than me by any stretch. Get some rest. What about I'll grab some spare blankets, put them over her, don't worry.
As I give a deep yawn and stand to retrieve them, I hear her lie back down with a soft thud.
Thank you, Hizao. No problem is the least I can do. You look outright wasted. I'm not wasted, just a little bit tired.
She starts pouting, a slight slur beginning to distort her words as the alcohol takes hold of her again. I grab a couple of blankets rolled up at the end of her bed. Quietly walking over to Hanako, I carefully lay the blankets over her peacefully sleeping figure, making sure to not wake her up. The thick smell of alcohol coming off her breath makes me doubt she'd want to wake up no matter what I did though. I stand and take one last measure of the room. 2 girls, both very drunk, and 1 guy sleeping overnight with them is in the female student's dorm. What a scandal that'd be if it broke out. As I move to sit back down at the side of the bed, I steal one last glance at Lily. Her sprawling, disheveled figure lies resting peacefully, slightly turned to the side. I crouch down to get a better look. Her white skin blends in with the white pillow of the bed, a look of slumber-born peacefulness on her face. Usually, she seems so confident and forward, always there and caring for Hanako. Now, though, she seems painfully delicate. I think back to Hanako's presence. I thought it'd be a nice occasion for her, but I hardly expected it to be so moving. One birthday after another, year after year. Just she and Lily, all alone. I guess it wasn't just the present she liked. Resigning myself to an uncomfortable sleep, I sit down at the side of the bed once again and rest my tired arms beside me. Hey, Zao? Lily's voice is so quiet I can barely hear it. She must be on the verge of sleep. Yeah? Thank you. Thank you for what? For being here. That's okay. As I hear a deeper breath, it's obvious Lily's gone to sleep. After closing my eyes, it doesn't take long for slumber to take me as well. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna end the episode here. Let me just save that. There we go. Alright. Wonderful. Alright, so I'm going to take another break, and I'm just going to keep recording. I'm going to keep recording today, because I have a bunch of free time today, so... Like, probably... I'm even gonna end up recording, like, 1 or 2 more episodes today, so... Hopefully it ends up well. Anyways, I'm actually gonna stand up and work out. Jeez. Alright, well, have a nice day. Thank you for watching Vending the Autist. Yep, goodbye.